We have so many secret weapons, not just great performers on each event. We have some really great all-arounders. And this is what the selection committee is going to have to figure out. It's like, okay, we want enough great all-arounders so that anybody can step into any event at any time.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to season 2 of Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan, the Olympic special. I'm your host, Bridget Sloan, and I will be joined every episode by the one, the only, the legend herself, Miss Kathy Johnson-Clark. We will be talking elite gymnastics and all things leading up to and during the Olympic Games. And for today's episode, we are doing a recap of the Xfinity Championships that just happened and a preview of the Olympic trials. Let's get into it. Well, Kathy Johnson-Clark, KJC in the house. We are back and we have a, dare I say, electric episode because there's a lot to cover today. There is a lot that happened over the weekend. And I know that you brought your notes because you are just one of a kind and they are color coded. Everybody, they are color coded, and that is why you are who you are, and that is why you are just amazing at what you do. But the Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships, aka the US Gymnastics Championships, just happened, and we now know what athletes are advancing and moving on to the Olympic trials. So, my first question to you, Kathy, is a very loaded question. What were your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. A very, very loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with this. As I mentioned in the last podcast, that the Olympic year is such a special year. It's a journey. It
Mm-hmm.
is something that every athlete, when they have the opportunity to try to qualify for the US championships, for the Olympic trials, and then on, every step is so wonderful. It is such a, we need to celebrate it. We need to celebrate it. And especially last meet after the championships, I had to sit there a moment when they, put forward the names for the
Mm-hmm.
national team and who's going on to Olympic trials and celebrating, so excited for these athletes. And at the exact same time, I'm like, okay, but there were many, many great gymnasts that took their final bow
Mm-hmm.
for this season. And some of them, it was their final bow from the sport of gymnastics. Like, I can't say with certainty, but
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very possible. So please, everyone, take a moment to celebrate these women. We talked about Trinity Thomas. I mean, what she has done for the sport of gymnastics, drawing so much attention, growing NCAA gymnastics, breaking
Right.
records, and not just her gymnastics, just who she is as a human being was such a beautiful thing to follow. And then for her to triumphantly go back to elite gymnastics, I mean, what? Like,
Yeah.
and did so successfully, you
And
know?
I think going with Trinity, she is just so talented. I mean, she is just so talented. And I think there were a lot of people that maybe supported her, told her, you it's amazing what you're doing, but maybe in the back of their head they're like, is it possible? And she just made the impossible possible. And I think that's just a testimony to all the athletes that were competing over the weekend that you can literally do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah. No, and I think it's like, so we know it's not easy.
Right.
Even when we haven't stepped away from elite gymnastics and then trying to go back into elite gymnastics, when you've got many, many years on your
Mhm.
body, okay, not just it's great to have the experience and all that talent, but you've still put a lot of wear and tear on your body. And stepping up to do those really, really hard skills. I mean, she upgraded her difficulty to
Yeah.
a level that was not, I don't want to say surprising because her talent is not surprising, but that she was able to do it and compete in the all around. And I know she was managing some injuries, and one of them I knew because I had a toe that just almost retired me. Almost,
Really?
I kid you not. I mean, out of all the injuries I had, I was like, are you kidding
Right.
me? A toe? is gonna be the end of my gymnastics because think about how important your toe I couldn't
Oh,
break
100%. Oh, I don't doubt.
nothing. So and it was like the worst kind of turf toe and then a fracture, like just combination of stuff. So when I knew she was dealing with that, I was like, "Trin, take this like, talk to the football coach of Florida." Like,
Yeah.
really, that's a football injury too? Like, you
Oh,
want
yeah. Well, and I think what's challenging I can speak on this a little bit, but the older you get as a gymnast, the more challenging it is because you're so used to being able to bounce back.
Mhm.
You have even an ankle sprain. Normally, when you sprain an ankle, it is, oh gosh, the amount of ankle sprains that I had that I just cursed internally, just was cursing myself. Why me? Why me? Because I knew it was going to take a long time. But the younger you are, you start to bounce back. But man, when you get a little bit older and it's like a switch, all of a sudden your body it just doesn't heal as faster. So it is those little injuries, what seems so minor can just take so much time. And when you're battling injuries, no matter what magnitude that injury is, it's still a challenge. I mean, it's still mentally challenging, it's physically challenging. So to see her perform though with such grace, no
Yes.
matter what was happening. I mean,
And
she is
fight,
yeah.
and fight and smoke 'cause she could have just, after the landing on the floor, just said, "Okay, I'm just done." And for her to
Right.
come back and truly it was a gift, I think, for everyone, herself included, to do that bar routine.
Yeah.
And she had to fight in that bar routine
Oh, yeah.
midway through, and I was like, "Whoa, oh my gosh." I mean, I needed remember at Disneyland, you had to have an e-ticket to go on the wildest rides? I needed to present an e-ticket for that routine. I was like, "Whoa." But she held on and fought through it, and so that moment at the end when she saluted and then celebrated with Owen was so sweet and so
Yeah.
special. Poignant, yes,
Mhm.
because this was not how she envisioned it. Things were going so well at the beginning of the year, and we're like, "Oh my gosh," at Winter Cups,
Right.
phenomenal. But also knowing this is gonna be it's a hard road.
Mhm. I think most athletes I know when my season was coming to an end in elite, I knew. I think the hardest part is accepting. It's really easy to know like, I knew that after Olympic trials in 2012, whether I made it or not, that was gonna be the end. Like, I knew it, but when the moment hits, I hope every athlete out there, especially those that competed and their season did end, and whether they're moving on to NCAA, no matter what their path is, you just have to take a deep breath and, like, really let it sink in and process, and whatever that process may be, because it's so gymnastics is such a challenging sport, and we talk about it so much just between you and I in our individual conversations of just the challenges that it makes you face head on.
Yeah. You know what really has been special in these last couple of years? Because I think we thought that and I think gymnasts out there thought their elite careers were over and behind them
Mhm.
and that they were done completely. So I'm calling this like the quad phoenix, the phoenix.
Oh.
People literally are rising back up. I mean, look at Emma Malabuyo going to the Olympic
Mhm.
Games, Aaliyah Finnegan going to the Olympic Games, Luisa Blanco going to the Olympic Games, Lindsey like, oh my gosh, the list goes on, and you're like, I have never felt so much joy in my life seeing dreams rekindled,
Yeah.
childhood dream rekindled. It's like, what? Really? It's not over. So I think that gives people not just hope, but just also a reminder that yes, in life and in gymnastics, there are times we pivot,
Mhm.
we change course. It doesn't mean that you're not going to come back around sometimes. Yeah.
Right, but I like that way of looking at it. You're pivoting. You might be thinking you're on the straight and narrow, and you have to pivot sometimes. And you might take the long way around, but I think it is so amazing to see these athletes, like you said, they are living out their dream. They are rekindling that flame, that dream, that goal. And that's just not something you used to see. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. It Back in the day, it was very much so when you were done with elite, you were done.
Mhm.
Now whether who knows? Could maybe athletes have come back? Maybe. They might have been able to, but, at the end of the day, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Actually, Kathy, I was gonna tell you I'm making a comeback. This is my moment.
Okay.
I am
Announcement. Well, hey.
Yep. Kathy, I think you need to make a comeback too. I think we both this is our time to shine. I'm just kidding. But it is true. I mean, you didn't see it. It was very rare. Where now it's becoming so common. And I think there are a lot of elements that go into why athletes are able to come back. And I do think, in my personal opinion, a main reason is the joy that they are finding in gymnastics.
Yeah. And let's talk about the ones that are gonna be going on to college
Mhm.
now. Doesn't mean that they're not gonna do elite again, because we're seeing that, and they've seen you don't
Right.
have to shut the door to elite because you go to college and experience that, and we've seen how it's improved many other gymnastics when they go into college and
Mhm.
do that experience and then come back. But also, I how much they've done for the sport of gymnastics, okay? Like Nola Matthews, okay, just missed qualifying to go on to
I
trials.
know.
Look at the year that she had in the last 2 years and what she was able to do, not just for herself, but for USA Gymnastics.
Right.
We added to our foundation, um, US Gymnastics, with the depth of talent that we have. Not just our very top gymnasts that are gonna go on and vie for this Olympic team and then compete in
Mhm.
Paris, but everybody, every single gymnast that went through Winter Cup, who trained elite, then core classics, and now the championships, and now the trials. This built this foundation that we've built greatness on. So kudos to all of them, for their individual journey, but also their contribution to USA Gymnastics.
Mhm. And I think, yeah, I mean, Kathy, I couldn't have said it better myself. My goodness, you are good with words. Gosh. But no, but it is true. I mean, there's just so much greatness within Team USA right now on both sides, men's and women's right now. I mean, they look incredible.
Mhm.
And I do want to talk about some of the incredible routines that we saw over the weekend. There were a lot. There were a ton, and I want to get your opinion on it. In my eyes, there were huge strides made from the core classic to
Yes.
the championship. I mean, really big, whether those were mental strides, whether those were technique, like it just looked, instead of taking a small kind of step, I mean, I felt like I saw athletes taking a leap in
Yes.
the right direction to get to that end goal, whatever that end goal might be.
Yes. I saw that in terms of their stamina. And think about it, they went from just one competition. Okay. They did 2 days of competition, and
Right.
we saw elevation in terms of their stamina, for the routines, sharpness in their
Mhm.
skills. Their confidence was much higher. I still saw some nerves, and, um, but to see every facet of their gymnastics improve in such a short amount of time, I think is really gratifying for all of us. And kudos to the coaches. I really am impressed with
Yeah.
the coaching, especially like when you listen to Jeff Graba, um, talk about, because managing Suni's recovery from the kidney disease, and just working her back up, but recognizing it's not just about doing your skills. It's
Right.
about being able to warm up those skills, perform those skills under pressure. Um, all events, same day, come back and do it the next day of competition. And it's not just physical; it's emotional, it's mental.
Mhm.
You got to take little bites. If you don't take little bites, you can choke. No matter how talented you
Mhm.
are, when you're in this process. And I am just so impressed with his patience and keeping her just right where she needs to be, not
Yeah.
too far along, not behind, but just right on pace. And then in that moment, after she, went from vault, which was scary. I mean, we all
Yeah.
saw and it looked like, because I believe she was supposed to do a double twist. Obviously, it
Mhm.
came out at 1.5. Wise, whether it was a decision or it just came out, but I thought, oh my gosh, first of all, good call in the air to just come out at 1.5, land safely. She was in no danger of getting hurt.
Right.
But what happens to your mind in that moment?
Oh,
And
yeah.
oh my gosh, and as she said later, I thought it was over. And then to see Simone recognize, like, she's got to qualify too. She's got to do some of the hardest gymnastics in the world in this competition. And she took the time to go talk to Suni. They walked out of the
Mhm.
arena to discuss it, ask what happened. Did you get lost? Did you plan to do 1.5?
Right.
Really process it really fast, because she knew exactly what Suni was feeling in that moment. Exactly,
Right.
because it happened to her in Tokyo. Um, so she wanted to first make sure she was okay. Two, make sure that mentally,
Right.
process.
Mentally, are you good? Yeah.
And now, Suni, believe in yourself.
Mhm.
Believe in yourself, and go to bars. Do you want me to stand here? Yes. The sweetest moment was seeing her stay there at bars while Suni competed, just to be there for
Yeah.
her, to encourage her. Trust yourself. You've got this. And then
Mhm.
when Jess says to her as she's coming off the podium, "This is who you are.
Oh,
This is who you
my
are,
God.
Suni." And it just, I mean, if she wasn't glowing to begin with, I mean, she was radiant in that red and black
Right.
lipstick. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Like,
stunning.
stunning.
Stunning. Yeah.
And then just the lightness that the weight that you felt leave her body. Um, Put that vault away. I mean, all the things that you want to teach athletes to be able to do in that moment, in the
Right.
most stressful moment, she did. And it just elevated everything.
And I think that is so hard. And I think from a viewer perspective, you might be thinking, well, obviously she's moving on to the next event. Like, of course she's thinking about bars, but when you have a mistake on such a high stage, when the stakes are high, and she knows every single athlete that was competing out there, they knew what was at stake and they knew what they needed to do. And when things didn't go that way,
Mhm.
it is so easy. It is so easy to crumble. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
It's so
especially,
easy.
and everybody's thinking, oh, well, but they don't need her vault, so that shouldn't matter. Of course, it matters to her. First of all, it affects your brain, your
Mhm.
confidence, everything. When you have to go through that, and in that moment, quickly get yourself out of it. Don't let yourself go down that hole. Don't go
Right.
so deep you can't get back out. And to keep your mind right, your emotions right, um, so that you can get up there and compete again. Because yes, of course we know it's bars and beam right now. I mean, right now, if her bars and beam get up to, like, if her bars come up to the level of her beam, and her
Oh,
bars
yeah.
come up to where we know they can be, and we know she's working that. Like,
Mhm.
I think she can do 5, 6 different routines, Jess said, that,
It's
I
crazy.
I mean, wouldn't it be nice?
Crazy.
I mean, Bridget,
What's
you're a
that
bar
like?
worker. You're a bar worker. I was like, I mean, I was
Oh, man.
whatever. But if she can get up there, then bars and beam are just, like, out of this
Yeah.
world. So, but it's so important, and this is why I did my notes the way that I did them, because when you have to select a team, and it's 5. Okay, 5. Yes,
Oh,
you have
yeah.
your alternate athletes as well, but it's 5 that you have to be able to have your 3 best, highest score potential routines consistent for the 3 up 3 count. As I said, you have to work backwards from what you have to do at team finals.
Right.
So they all know this. Like, all the gymnasts know their places. They know where they slot in terms of lineup, which events, all around. Now, the big question, especially in a great team like ours, who's going to do all around, because ideally, all 5 are good all. You should have that. just in case. Just
Well, and that's it. Yes, you can't like it's almost like is the risk that's a big risk to
yes.
mm, mm, yeah.
And
I
it
would
was
not wanna be on
the
that
last
selection committee.
row.
I just wanna make it very clear. I would not wanna be on this
Yeah.
selection committee, but it is true you have I mean, it's not just a, "Oh, you did amazing today. Oh, okay, you're on there." You're I mean, it is every Olympic quad. It's just the picture gets bigger and bigger and what they have to look at, and I think to go off of what you're saying, like, Suni looked fabulous.
Yeah.
I thought she looked fabulous, and she had mistakes. I mean, did anybody have a perfect meet?
Yeah. No, but they had perfect moments.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'm loving to see, and why you try to look at all the pieces. And
Mhm.
so when I put together these notes, um, I did it so that I'm looking at the numbers right now, not the people. Because
Mhm.
when you look at that makes it so hard, because you're like, "I want them all. I want them
Right.
all." Like, and I look
Right.
at these routines, so can I just put it out right there? I like 6 on the team, I'm gonna make that statement. We were 6 with 1 alternate. I like 6, but it is what it is. We're down to 5. So what I did was I'm just looking at their D score. Okay,
Mhm.
what their routines are worth in terms of their difficulty, and then I looked at their E-scores as it stands right now, where they're at right now in their execution. Um,
Okay.
so I'm just looking at their numbers, and then I they're almost like, as I said, chess pieces. And so I've got 1 through 3 in the all around, highlighted in green, and then in pink I've got 4 through 6, and then in yellow I've got the next 3. Did that on every single event as well, so that I can slide them around, because you have to have in that 5 your 3 top on all 4
Mhm.
events. So you look at each individual event, and I'm just sliding them in there. And then I gave them points for their placement. So I've even got their points for impact in terms of the team, to just see how it plays out numbers wise. Forget
Right.
looking at the people. And that's just based on where they are right now. Because as you said, the improvements that we are seeing are
Mhm.
monumental. And so here's the complicating thing. So Shilese, like there's
Right.
always complications.
Of course. Of
Shilese
course.
made the right, wise decision to not
Right.
compete, rest that shoulder, petition, because that's a no-brainer. That's an
Right.
easy grant that petition. Kalia Lincoln, obviously. So they're the 2 petitions. Again, another wise decision. Shilese, I just used her scores and her performance from just a couple weeks ago, classic. And she's still right up there in the top 2 and 3, almost across the board. Who made noise at this meet, since that was our theme last week?
Mhm.
Sky Blakely.
Oh, big time.
Oh,
Oh, she made a big pow. Oh,
yeah,
I
and
loved
not just the
watching her.
vault, and not just the vault. So, yes, the vault was huge. For her to pull out
Mhm.
that tongue, it was like, "Okay, game changer." So that is a game changer for her, and for the selection committee, and for the team, for everybody. It just
Right.
upped the game, and it upped the ante, okay?
Mhm.
Because to
Absolutely.
have those incredible vaulters. Vaulters get it's like the other person who made huge noise, especially from classic, because Kayla DiCello,
Mhm.
who had a phenomenal Winter Cup, goes and win Pan Am, like she is on a high, but then at classic, I mean, she took a significant
Right.
step, and I like her response to that. As Kelly Hill said, it was a wake-up call. It was like an alarm, and I've
Yep.
heard that alarm in myself
Oh,
many
yeah.
years ago, when an alarm comes on, and it's like, "Okay, this is serious," and she stepped up and looked phenomenal. Um,
Yeah.
day one was fantastic. Ugh, bars, like,
I know. As soon as she let go for that release,
she
I
was already
knew.
she was already struggling before, so I was like, "Okay, there's no way it's," you know, that was gonna be too hard.
That one hurt my heart a little bit because 'cause you're
Yeah.
right, she has just her jump from classics to championships was drastic. I mean, it was a big, and again, sometimes as athletes, sometimes as people in general, you need that wake up call as much as it pains me to admit it. Sometimes it is meets like classics for Kayla that are going to make the difference. That are going to, I mean, you could tell that she went back to the gym and put in the work and worked on the details, and
Mhm.
Kelly Hill does an amazing job with every athlete that I've ever seen come out of that gym. I mean, personally, I always see really good athletes, and it seems like they're always pacing the right way because she knows what she's doing.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, she's done it many, many times. Um,
Mhm.
so it was really, really good to see. She's getting sharper and sharper too, Kayla is. Both Kayla
Yes.
and Sky's gymnastics are
Mhm.
just getting so sharp, so clean, crisp, performance and technique. I love to see that. Suni, of course, just, I mean, huge improvements. And I'm talking
Yeah.
across the board, not just like
Right.
her beam was literally stunning. As I said, the gymnastic gods are smiling. I mean, it's like, I, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful work. And then, so Jordan Childs, who had a phenomenal classic, I
Mhm.
mean, really, really phenomenal, and was having a great meet here at championships, gets to floor, and people were trying to figure out, was it a stamina thing, that final pass? For me, it just looked like she got ahead of herself and was just
Yeah.
rushing, like rushing the block, trying to get it done. But you can't rush things. Like it's
Right.
you
For
just,
sure.
no matter how excited. I also sort of worried too. It's like I wonder how heavy that leotard. Yeah, that was a fun that was such a cool leotard. It was
It
really
is
cool.
true.
Then you start thinking about it because I never wore crystals. I never I didn't have
Oh, they're heavy.
one leotard.
They're heavy.
So, and then if you've got a high neck too, like
Mhm.
I had one higher neck leotard. So I don't know because I don't know what that feels like. But I'm like, I
Yeah.
wonder if that changes, especially when you're doing a hard floor routine. It's double
Hmm.
ad at the end. I was
Right.
just wondering, was it did that affect it at all? Probably not. I'm assuming that not, but it just looked like she rushed. So when she went out there and lit it up on that floor the second day, it was so wonderful to see, but beam. And
Yeah.
Barda always says this to me when I'm commentating. There'll be a couple times he'll go, you coach when you commentate. I know, I know. Sometimes I just have to. It's like sometimes I just so
Right.
watching. And I will say this right now, I do not like that end shot on beam for television.
I
That's
don't
too
either.
long. I don't like once in a while, I love to see it to get that perspective. And there are certain skills that I like to see when they're lined up, and coaches stand at the end, which is great. But guess what? Judges don't stand there for a reason. That's
Right.
not the best place
Right.
for the beam. They're on the side. So just putting that out there. That said, when I watched her set up the triple series, for I don't know if she normally does this or not, but on the back handspring, I go, "Oh god." So it was
Yeah,
a
she
weird,
was she was off from the very get-go.
when she bent her knees, to then jump back, her legs were so far apart, which is, and anytime
Mhm.
your knees, if your thighs and your knees aren't glued together, it's just too big a chance that you're gonna be one side or the other. Like
Mhm.
too much, and I don't wanna get in her head or anything, like, but it looked different. It was different.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what that is sometimes you get, I remember telling, Sierra Ballard at LSU, when she missed a series, I go, I saw her leave her body. Do you know that feeling?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
And when you have an out of body, like you've left your body, you've left the building. you are no longer in charge of the skill. It's just,
Right. Right.
and so when I said that, I go, it was like, Jesus, take the wheel. Okay.
Mhm.
You can give him the wheel any other time in your life. You cannot do it on beam. Do not say, Jesus, take the wheel. Keep your hands on the wheel. Keep driving. So it just seemed like in that moment, it just was different. So she can work beam. So
Oh, yeah.
all of these things, when we talk about the pressure and the nerves, I'm so glad that there are multiple stages in the trials
Mhm.
process, because it
Yeah.
allows these gymnasts to experience these moments. As I said, we saw some perfect moments, and then we saw some pressure, a nervy, saw
Yeah.
some nervy beamer teams. Leanne Wong, not usually nervous
Mhm.
like that on beam. And that leads me to this thing when we go back to the lineups and the selection. We have so many secret weapons, not so secret,
Oh, yeah.
what I say,
Right.
not just great performers on each event. We have some really great all-arounders.
Right.
And this is what the selection committee is going to have to figure out. It's like, okay, we want enough great all-arounders so that we have anybody can step into any event at any time.
Mhm.
Ideally, it'll work out. We have our top three best. They're at their peak, healthy, everything, and they are all going great. But you have to have 5 that are capable of getting up there and doing a great job on every event. So, and I know they're keeping that in. That's when you look at the Kayla DiCellos, Leanne Wong, Tiana, who's coming up, Hesley, Rivera. Oh my goodness gracious. They're all coming up, and it's lifting all boats. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, this weekend, I feel like a lot of people were like, "Oh."
Oh.
Like, it in a very good positive way, but I think our Team USA has always been very strong. I mean, every single quad, every single Olympic Games, they are one of the top teams pretty much walking into it.
Mhm.
But I feel like this year, dare I say, some new faces maybe that people weren't maybe expecting to see maybe get this far, yet also get this far with a crown on their head, bedazzled diamonds, and saying, "Hello, I'm here to stay." But it's one of those things you have to look at the big picture. And I loved what you mentioned about how this process, it's a good process. As much as people might hate the Olympic selection committee process, it really is a good process because it guarantees you your best athletes not only just leading up, but at that moment going into the Olympic Games.
Mhm.
If in 2008 they were to choose the Olympic team from Olympic trials, your girl would not have been on the team. There would have been absolutely no shot of me being on that team. I had my worst meet of my life. It's fine. We've moved on. I don't think about it. It's all fine. But it is. It's one of those things where you can't let those mistakes, you can remember them, but you can't let them eat you alive. You can't let them simmer and marinate in your brain. I mean, it's important to make mistakes because that's how you learn. And as athletes, as gymnasts, there's no perfect gymnast out there. Everybody's making mistakes constantly. But what you're seeing and what I'm seeing is these athletes are making mistakes. They're not letting it affect them, but they're doing it with this like maturity that
Mhm.
I'm just like,
Yes.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies.
Yeah. You mentioned a really important word, and it is maturity. Um, Even with the very young athletes, and I think we're benefiting from the sport now keeping gymnasts longer
Hmm.
and older and wiser, because it doesn't just help them. Simone isn't just helping herself, she's
Right.
helping everyone by being herself, but also, because they're modeling behave, watching her and say, knowing what is possible, knowing that, wow, if she can get through what we watched her get through in front of the whole world and come back like that, like that's when you do believe you can do anything that you set your
For
mind.
sure.
And if you get
Yeah.
your mind healthy, and you find you have to maintain this peace, even doing hard things. And that's the thing. I think that was one of the things that Simone even said to Suni. You can do hard things. As I told you, things don't get easier. You just get better at doing hard things and get better at doing even harder things. And that's what they're all sharing with each other. And the beautiful thing we saw was how supportive they are of each other, how
Yeah.
bonded. And you and I can talk about this. I will tell you from 40 years, it was 40 years ago, 2 days ago, that we had our Olympic trials, because my team just sent out their photo and they all showed,
Oh
I
my
have
gosh,
it
that's
being
so
on my
fun.
wall. Oh my God. Yeah. And it was um, such a, I mean, you know the moment, you know that
Oh
moment, you
yeah.
know everything that leads up to that moment. But I'm going to tell you, in the 40 years since, what our team has had to deal with in life
Mhm.
and been there for each other in life. Okay, it makes gymnastics pale by comparison. It's like, that's gymnastics, okay? This is
Right.
so all of the tools that they're gaining, everything that they're learning from each other, and now seeing them lift each other up and be there for each other,
Yeah.
building a sisterhood now, not after they made a team and then they look back and then you bond. No, no, no. It's happening now. And they rush to each other's rescue, which is a beautiful thing. They lift each other up when they need it most. They're there
Yeah.
to console them when things have not gone well. And that's the other thing we have to remember. It's like we need to be aware of people's hearts, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we should apply that to to our everyday life, but it is. It's every single athlete is a human being. They are a young woman reaching, trying for their goals.
Hmm.
And who are any of us to put judgment on that? And I
Yeah.
think it can be so easy. It can be so easy to nitpick and do things like that, but at the end of the day, I think what we saw at the championships was just it was class.
Yeah.
It was positivity in a way that really it made me really happy to
I'm
see the
proud.
way yes, proud yes, very proud, but happy to see not just teammates. I mean, that's friendship. That is
Yeah.
that is good old-fashioned friendship that I think sometimes can get kinda overshadowed when you're out there, and they're all competing essentially, every single athlete that was out there is competing to move on to Olympic trials, and they're competing for those 5 spots.
You know where I think it comes from too? This is cool. Two, two things for me.
Mhm,
Because I always saw this in our men's team back when I was competing. But I
mhm.
think the women, even seeing the men and the way they competed and support each other. Oh my gosh, listening to those men cheer each other on from the start of the routine to the landing, the energy that they expended not just on themselves doing their own gymnastics,
Yeah.
getting everybody else through the routines, because our men look phenomenal. And what Brody Malone did
Mhm.
is next level. I mean,
Oh,
think about
yeah.
what we have right now in men's and women's USA gymnastics. The role models, the people, and it's not just one, it's not just Simone and Brody doing just like
Right.
almost impossibly hard things right now to come back from the injury that Brody Malone came back
Mhm,
from, and watching him compete because he's very different. He's very intent, very focused, very serious,
mhm.
doesn't let emotion show at all. He just really,
Yeah.
this is his hard work is so obvious. He's wearing it on every square inch of his body. You can see it. It's like, oh my God, you have worked so hard for this and you deserve the feeling that you have right now
Mhm.
of accomplishment. I mean, you've already won. You already won right
Yeah.
there. And then, so you get that. And then college gymnastics. it has become not just okay to cheer each other on and support each other.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
it's the magic of the whole everything. It's at the center of it all. It's lifting
Yeah.
everybody up, creating energy, not just for yourself, but for everyone.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think the 2008 Olympic team for men's and women's, I mean, we are a very close-knit group, and we have a group chat that will just randomly, someone will chime in, but I think you are seeing just you're just seeing these amazing athletes support each other in a way that I think it was lost for a little bit. I think there was a lot of pressure put on athletes and you didn't see, and I could be totally wrong, but from an outsider view, it didn't look as genuine. It
Mhm.
didn't.
Yeah.
It was very, I mean, it was cutthroat out there. It was. And there was a lot on it almost seemed like there was just the weight of the world
Yes.
on their shoulders constantly, and you can tell that they're competing lighter.
Mhm.
Again, we always talk about finding joy. Okay, people, it's really hard to find joy in gymnastics sometimes. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really hard, but you're seeing it more and more, and it's such a beautiful thing, and I think you and I have such a different perspective of it because we've lived it.
Mhm.
We've been involved in every stage, and to be able to look at them and just smile and just know, the beaming that was coming off those athletes,
Genuine.
genuine and just beautiful to see. So I think that is what makes me so excited about this kind of new generation, in elite and competing for Team USA. It gets me excited because not only are they talented, but, like, they're good humans.
Yeah, and
That's
and
awesome.
they've tapped into, something that I think is so important, and it's they compete with each other. I said this last
Yeah.
time. They're
Yep.
not competing against each other. They're competing
Right.
there is no, like, comparison. It's like when I did my notes and stuff in color code, I'm not comparing one to other. I'm using tools, assessment tools, you know, to assess the routines.
Yeah.
Then, because when I watch, oh my gosh, I compartmentalize my brain, because there's
Mhm.
a part of my brain that just and my eyes that want to just enjoy. I want to enjoy the beauty of the performance because I know everything that goes into it. I love the people. And I love the way that they compete now because you are right. There's a genuine caring of each other
Mhm.
no matter what. It's like we're all in
Right.
this together. Yes, at the end, there's only going to be this number of gymnasts that are going to go on to compete. But I know deep in my heart that those who are going to go on know that these others lifted them up to be where they are because you don't do it by yourself. You just don't.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's competition that makes us great. It's 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 helping each other that makes us better too. And we're seeing that in both men's and women's. So,
Mhm.
and our team is really, really close like yours. So,
Yeah.
we have that genuine closeness. Um,
Again, I'm just a little biased for the 2008 team. I'm sure every single team is very close, and I think I don't wanna take away from any athlete that has competed for Team USA, but I just feel like you're seeing it more natural.
yeah,
It's almost like behind closed doors, we're best friends, but when we're on the competition floor,
yeah,
don't talk to me.
yeah.
And I don't love that.
No, I think they've learned that that's not good for you.
Yeah.
That you're ignoring the human experience.
Mhm.
Okay, when you do that, to be able to not just give support, but to accept
Mhm.
it from others too.
Right.
It's like this two-way street. I just feel such a good energy out there. And it did
Yes.
we didn't have that. Like I would have loved to have had training camps with all of us. I actually would have because
Oh gosh.
no, but to be together, like they get to go and be together for a few days, which is really, really
Mhm.
cool. And
Yeah.
maybe not that, maybe it's social media that's allowed it. or competing in
Yeah.
college too, that has just expanded.
Mhm.
It's like you're one big team in some way, and you
Yeah.
could just communicate immediately. Like, even with gymnasts on the other side of the world, they're friends
Yeah.
through social media. We didn't have that at all. So that part I envy. The rest of the stuff I don't. I lesson down, like
I think I do. I agree with you though. I think that there's just different elements in today's world that we just, we didn't have. Like we didn't really use. And I
Mhm.
mean, I can assure you that going to camp wasn't exactly fun, but we made the most of it. We made the most of it. We tried our best.
I should make it clear, not that camp, a camp.
You
Let
just
me
Kathy just wanted to be together with her friends. That's
I
all.
know,
That's all you wanted.
felt some kind of together. Well,
Togetherness.
it was because I trained so much, not on my own, but, like, there were
Mhm.
times I was the only elite o
Yeah.
on my team, so that gets hard.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
in fact, I had to make a
for
move
sure.
because of that reason, so that's the
Yeah.
reason why I meant, not because I wanted some of the experience I've heard of, huh? We won't.
No, no, I'm sure it was just about being together, and it does make a difference. I mean, it makes a huge difference, but moving so seamlessly, I do wanna talk a little bit about kind of what you wanna see. Again, we talked about the big jump from classics to championships and the improvements in that we saw them. We applaud every athlete that was
Mhm.
at classics and then championships and did those improvements, but what are you really looking to see moving on to the Olympic trials?
So the improvements we saw from classics to championships was just cleaner
Mhm.
routines, more confident routines. Um, they're more comfortable with their upgrades. I think we're still going to see a few more upgrades, possibly, like
Mhm.
Jade may improve. But now, and this is, I know they're all feeling this. Now, consistency matters. Now
Yeah.
it matters hitting under pressure. And
Mhm.
there's no do-overs. So it's like, so they that's what we need to see at trials. They want to go have their most perfect meet to show how consistent and how they can perform under the highest level of pressure. Because this
Yeah.
is the highest level of pressure they will feel will be at the trials. The way that the process has been designed is to not ease them into it, but to allow them to take little bites of it
Mhm.
as they go through this process so that you don't just choke on it. Like, you
Yeah.
don't want to choke on it because you're taking on too much. It allowed Suni this the time and space she needed to add things in a way that didn't jeopardize her progress. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
So now everything is building at the same time. Her mental preparation, her physical preparation, like it's
Mhm.
and it'll all come together. And you could finally see her confidence that she was trusting and believing, what her coach has seen. It doesn't matter if your coach believes you're good. You need to believe
Mhm.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I got this. No matter what, I have this. And we're starting to see that. We're going to see, oh gosh, looking at all these names, because it's impossible not to look at the names.
Oh, I know.
These gymnasts, um, there's going to be, because let's talk about Leanne Long for a sec.
Yeah.
So last year at the World Championships, I mean, she the whole time as I'm watching the championships and then world trials and all of that, I was like, my eyes were on Leanne because I go, that's your secret weapon right there. You need
Mhm.
this gymnast on this team. Okay.
Right.
Because across the board, she is so reliable, high D
Yeah.
scores, but reliable and very, very clean execution. She is going to score well. Um,
Yeah.
and so, and I want to see her get to that again and really show that
Mhm.
part of her, who she is at the trials, because she is still right there, but she's on the bubble now a little bit.
Mhm.
One of the ones that you're looking at, and there are 4 or 5 right there. Because I think a lot of people have they kind of have their 4 that they go, if
Yeah.
all goes as it's going. And I stress that. If all goes as it's going, and as we're
Mhm.
seeing it play out, and that they're all rising to the occasion at the level we expect at the time. Does that make sense?
Right.
So
Yep.
you Simone obviously is just in her own
Simone.
universe right
Right.
now. And there to actually like lift everybody else up too. Like I think
Mhm.
that's helpful. Shilese, obviously there's a little question mark only because anytime there's an injury, this is untimely. But we saw such great things from her at Classic. There's no reason to doubt that we're going to see that again. So let's just,
Mhm.
I mean, you hope for the best because she is at a really good place with her gymnastics. And then you saw Sky and Kayla come in and just kill it at these championships. They probably made the biggest noise, as did Jade.
Yeah.
But then had a weird thing, which I have to bring something up on Jade on Beam, and I had to rewind and keep watching it. On the switch side,
Yeah.
and something looked weird when she was going into it and then landed and then fall. And it's unusual to see her fall. She's so consistent. So consistent. And then she lands and I see her eyes immediately go to this place on the beam. I'm like, trying to look. And then she flicks something off the beam. Did you see
I
that?
saw that too. Yes, I did see that.
Was that a piece of tape that came off of her foot? I kept rewinding it, trying to see, is something on the beam? Did something land on the beam?
Yeah.
I don't know. And of course, I mean, those are the kind of things, I remember one meet, there was a drip or whatever, drip on the beam, and you have to like block these things out. I mean, you talk
You
about
were competing on a balance beam
meet.
that had
I was covering a
oh,
meet.
I was like,
And they're like, there's a leak. Okay. It was and it happened
"Oh,
right over beam.
no, no.
They're like, yeah,
No, no."
not a good thing. So anyways, a few of the gymnasts, but this is life. Okay.
Mhm.
Things happened in this meet that they're going to have to go, okay, it's like the wake up call that Kayla got after
Yep.
Classic. So some of them now have another little alarm. It's like, okay, I let this get to me, or
Yeah.
this wasn't quite there. What can I do? How do I help myself? Because now it's prove yourself time, not
Yeah.
just to the selection committee and for the score, because that's the thing. It's for the score. I mean, but also for your own just your confidence, and just
Mhm.
how you want to feel at the end of this, that
Yeah.
you've done everything you can possibly do to be at your best.
Well, Kathy, who are your 5 then? Give me your 5.
Okay, let me give me my 4. Okay. Simone,
9.
Solis, hang on, let me get I've got this other little part of my chart. Hold on a second.
Pause for the
Pause,
notes.
pause.
She has to get her notes
I
together.
I do have to get my notes. So Simone,
Okay.
Shilese, like
Yep.
fingers crossed that that is not a problem.
Mhm.
Suni,
Okay.
I put Suni right in there
Yep.
because she is right on track. She is just right
Yeah.
on track. That is a beam routine that is gold medal worthy. Um,
Right.
that
Well, and
you
you have to
want.
remember she's been in high pressure situations before and done beautifully.
Yes,
You don't forget those moments.
yes.
But
And though I know goal one is that team medal, that
mhm.
team lineup, that's top three.
Right.
She is top three. She is the best beam
Mhm.
worker. Um, in the country, if not the world, right now. She's just right up there with the best in the world. So Suni's in there with, and then I think Sky really made a
Yep.
huge statement. She looks as good as she's ever looked.
Mhm.
She looked confident, and the game changer is the Chung.
Yeah.
Once he added that upgrade, and everything else is just so consistent and so there.
Mhm.
I think she's made such a strong case for herself. And then that, oh my goodness, 5th spot. We gotta like, I want bits and pieces of I want them all.
Right?
I want them all. Because there's at least 4 or 5. I've got Kayla in the mix,
Yep.
Jordan,
Yep.
Jordan is absolutely, absolutely in the mix for that spot because so many reasons on and off the floor. Wouldn't it be great to have that energy? First of all,
Right.
in the team,
Yeah.
the energy, the when she is confident, when she is that girl, okay, that's what she's
Mhm.
saying. When she is that
Mhm.
girl, when she is herself, her confident self, um, on all four events, you can count on her.
Mhm.
Okay.
Agreed. Yeah.
I know we saw some, being, you're like, oh gosh, I really wanted her to be able to show I can do it
Right.
every single time. I still think she's got that in there because when she was really, if she'd maintained that posture from start to finish, that's what I saw go away on her series. Something happened
Mhm.
where it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So, but I've got her absolutely right there in the mix.
Okay.
And let's see if I got anybody else in there. Oh gosh, I was so excited for Jocelyn Robertson on floor.
Me too.
Oh, she is such a bright light. She's
I
just,
agree.
and to see her come back
Mhm.
from just an untimely injury. I mean, she was having the
Yeah.
year of all years, such a, and that doesn't go away. She's just a phenomenal year and leading up to the World
Right.
Championships, and such an unfortunate, horrible injury in a bad
Yeah.
time. But that floor, dang. I mean,
I love it.
her tumbling is not just explosive, it's very clean, technically really sound.
Yeah.
As well, she's got to clean up artistry and execution because
Yeah.
she does have those deductions. But I'm seeing big improvement each time. She's working so hard on all of those. There are
Yeah.
little things that I think all the gymnasts can do. I love Tiana on floor. I think from shins up, everything is really, really good. Her feet are not quite there yet. They're not quite developed, polished.
Right.
They're not finished, is all.
Yeah.
They're not quite finished. You're not pushing all the way through. And these are the things that the judges are going to be looking for, in those artistry deduction. It's not just the fluidity. Like she's got the big fluidity and the posture and extension, and at
Yeah.
the height of her jaw, like it's all there. But a lot of times when the back leg behind, when she lifts her leg up and back, even when it's just bending her toe isn't fully pointed. So these are like little things that just jump out at me, but they start to add up. And I think these are things that
Yeah.
she will clean up. She's still young, but she is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing, as is Hesley.
Mhm.
What
Yeah,
a
I mean, there's a lot. I like that you said it, you've got your 4 solid.
mm-hmm.
We won't call them locks. Well, we can call a couple of them locks, but I mean, to just make it easier, you've got 4 solid that you're like, "Yeah, I'd feel great with this," but that 5th spot. I mean, and isn't it weird? I feel like that's how it is every single Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have a solid, last year or in Tokyo, it was like you had a solid 4.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
who's in that 5th?
Yeah.
And then, it just comes down, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
whoever takes that 5th spot, whoever our 5 are, I mean, it comes down to the just tiniest detail. I mean, and they're gonna be looking at big picture, obviously, hopefully, we cross our fingers. They're looking at the big picture because you want your team, like you said, you want really strong athletes on all 4 events.
Yeah. Here's the thing: you can't go wrong. We
Yeah.
have so many great options. Okay, let's just be clear
Mhm.
about that. We've all so many people are agreeing on the four that we see right now.
Mhm.
You cannot go wrong with Jordan or Kayla or Leanne, you know, in that spot, or Jade. Like these
Mhm.
are tried and true, battle tested, have
Yeah.
competed under pressure. They've done phenomenal gymnastics. You can't go wrong. I think our challenge is we have too many. of those.
Yeah.
That one, and I don't even want to say that it's one spot. It's not just one spot that's left.
Right.
Everybody just, put it out there. But because we're so far along in the process, this is what we're seeing right now.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I would agree. I like your list. I like your list a lot.
I'll send it to you. My greens and my
Oh,
pinks,
please do.
my yellows, all three. And then I did points so that I took the the human element out, which I didn't want to do,
Mhm.
but you have to. You have to
Yeah.
sort of look at it almost like it's blind. What's
Yeah.
that? Blindedness.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at D score, execution score, how they perform, how they hit. I just
Mhm.
numbers, crunched them all,
Yeah.
highlighted them, and then I looked who they belonged to. And then I looked at who they belong to. I was like, "Oh," and when they align with what you know about these athletes,
Mhm.
what they bring to the team, then I go, "You know what? The system kinda works. We can make
Yeah.
this work. We just don't have enough slots."
Yeah. We just don't have
We do 2 teams. Let's do 2 teams.
Yeah. Honestly, I have been saying it for a while. I think we should do 2 teams because that's how talented we are, but unfortunately, Kathy, they don't really care what we think when it comes to these things. But I will say I am so excited for those that are moving on to Olympic trials. This is normally, Kathy, I am going to give you your space to obviously give some wise words because you do it so well. But these athletes have so much to be proud of already, no matter what happens at the trials. It's just one of those things. I always get a little, I don't get emotional about it, but it touches me a little different sometimes where I'm like, you are just capable of greatness. You are so capable. So I'm really, really excited to see what these athletes do at Olympic trials. But before we call it an episode, Kathy, you have to give your wise words. You do it so well, and it makes me feel really good about my week. So do this for me. I need some wise words going into my week too.
So, I'm gonna channel Suni.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw the interview that she did after the meet was over, and we watched the journey she had to go through
Mhm.
from that vault in that moment to then go bars and beam, the 2 most important events for her to do, and she knows it. Like, you can't
Mhm.
y you're completely honest with yourself, and she just knocked it out of the park on both of those. But the joy when they asked her, "So what's next?" She just took the time to celebrate. "We're going to the Olympic trials. We're going to the Olympic trials." I mean, it's like, please, everybody, don't put the cart before the horse. Don't It's like gymnastics. Don't get ahead of yourself in a routine. You never want to do that. Don't try to stick the landing before you get there. Stay in the moment, not just because it's good for your gymnastics and your health, but let the joy happen too. You have done something remarkable. You have made it to the Olympic trials. The Olympic trials, so few people ever get to do that. Soak that in, enjoy it. Get to work, absolutely, because this is a process. Keep it going. Know you are loved and respected and admired no matter what.
That wraps up episode number 3 of Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan, the Olympic special. I'm your host, Bridget Sloan, and make sure to tune in every week because Kathy Johnson Clark and I will be talking all things elite gymnastics, all things leading up to and during the Olympic Games. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Let's make some good life choices out there, and don't forget to be awesome. Bye, guys.